I acknowledge the Douglas Caldwell Layton Foundation for their partnership in bringing this important conversation to the University of Regina. They have described the Tommy Douglas Lecture as a vital platform for rigorous intellectual debate on the social policies that define our nation. Together, we are creating a space where ideas can be challenged, perspectives can be broadened, and meaningful progress can take root. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce Josh Bizak, the Executive Director of the Douglas Caldwell Layton Foundation. Josh is a builder, a connector. He spent his career bringing ideas, institutions, and people together for common good. Starting his political journey in Toronto 30 years ago, and then at Queen's Park, he quickly built a reputation for solving problems, bringing union workers, leaders, and stakeholders together with politicians and policymakers for help. Over the years that followed, Josh lent his talents and experience to various provincial sections of the NDP and was chosen to lead the federal NDP's fundraising committee under Jack Layton. In 2011, Josh went to work with Ed Broadbent to establish the Broadbent Institute, as was envisioned by Jack before he passed away. In 2018, Josh was named Senior Advisor to the federal NDP, and in 2021, he was honored to be announced as the Executive Director of Tommy Douglas's The Love Charity, with a vision to revitalize and fulfill the complete purpose of its creation 50 years prior. Josh believes in partnerships that are a benefit to everyone involved and beyond. Tonight's inaugural Tommy Douglas Lecture here at the University of Regina is evidence of his commitment to that core belief. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Josh Bizak this evening.
Thank you very much, David. That was a really generous introduction, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's nice to be here in Regina. I always feel like it's a home away from home every time I touch down in your beautiful city. You know, it was only 3 years ago that I sat down over lunch with some senior representatives from the University of Regina in Ottawa to discuss the possibility of bringing what was then a fledgling idea of a lecture series here to this campus. It's amazing to me how quickly time flies. And here we are in this beautiful venue surrounded by wonderful people to talk about something that we all care passionately about and recognizing the legacy of Tommy Douglas. So I'd like to give thanks to Dean Dr. Harold Reamer for his support for this initiative, as well to David Gregory, the Provost and Vice President here at the University, for helping to make this happen. We couldn't be here in this beautiful venue without their help. So special thanks to the faculty and to the staff for their support in bringing us here to Regina. You know, this foundation was established by Tommy Douglas in 1971. Now, I think that Tommy Douglas was a visionary. I'm sure you all agree, right? Would all of you say that Tommy Douglas was a visionary? Okay. So Tommy Douglas had the foresight to know that in the future, progressive policy ideas would face the same kind of challenges that he had faced while he was premier and while he was leader of the NDP. He knew that there needed to be other organizations in this country country educating people, having conversations. And so in 1971, the Douglas Coldwell Foundation was established. Interestingly enough, it wasn't until I became the executive director that I actually got access to all of the archives. And lo and behold, I found the original letters patent of the organization, where it says expressly that its purpose is to educate people in politics, government, civics, and to do that through training, publications, lectures, and special events. A little light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, geez, I've been brought on to revitalize this organization. Meanwhile, Tommy had left us the blueprint 50 years ago. And so I'm happy that here we are fulfilling his vision. Tonight's event is not a one-off. As you heard from Dr.